Now, something I'm just going to give you guys a nice heads up. There's a question I ask at the end of this video. You won't want to miss it. And I usually put my juicier stuff at the end to reward people with a longer attention span. It's just the way I operate. Make sure you don't miss the end of today's video. Although I'd like you to watch the whole thing if you can manage it. Just ignore the foofy parts. There's stuff buried throughout. Hi, you guys. Oh my gosh, we're getting to the end of OC. Are you excited or sad? I don't know. Like and subscribe and boost and all that fun stuff. Make sure you don't miss the live I did with Kim D. Did you guys see that Jen Aiden launched her podcast 10 seconds after that live? Well, if you want to know why, you better go watch it. Jennifer Aiden. She also gave a goodbye message. I thought it was funny. I think any of you were wondering if she's been, she's coming back. Now you know for sure. She's good that she's not. Okay. So let's get into this. I've been very busy today working on my content for Sunday's show because, wow, was there a ton of gossip that came out this week, including Lisa Barlow's shout out to me on Watch What Happens Live. Cannot wait to tell you about that. All right, so let's get into it. First and foremost, Kiki dropped some tea at the Radio Andy anniversary party. Let me play you the clip.
Can I spill some tea? I've had some tequila.
Yeah.
Oh. I wasn't the only one at that lunch with Katie. Someone else was there.
Someone else was.
Someone else heard it.
We heard that as well.
2 people heard it.
Well, who? People we know?
I'm not someone who calls people out. But what I'm saying is she's calling 2 people liars by saying she didn't say it. She said it in front of both of us.
You know what gives me pause is that it turned into Gretchen said it, and then it turned to Sheena Shea is somehow involved.
I love it that Sheena Shea is involved. I love any Sheena Shea involvement in anything.
I love Sheena. But by the way, for Katie to take it to the next level and say there are toxicology reports, if there were, we all would have heard about it.
Oh no, excuse me.
Years ago.
We would have heard about it at the reunion.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
I was there. I know we would have litigated it at the time.
So Kiki mentioned she went to Orange County to meet Katie with a friend of hers. So I know people were automatically going to jump to a public figure, but I think it was just a girlfriend that just happened to be with Kiki that overheard this conversation. This is what happens when you go deep like I do. You get these really strange, granular details that you remember. And that was part of the story, as I recall it. I think I played it for you guys out here, didn't I? Or was it only in the Patreon? Anyway, So there it is. It's a friend of hers. I wonder how Tamra Judge felt about that and then felt about this. Just because looks like Tamra wasn't in the VVIP, but Kiki was.
Blogger. Yes, I'm fucking blogger. So a year ago, Andy couldn't get me into the VVIP, and now I am the VVIP. Yes. And we are on the 10th anniversary of Radio Andy.
Okay, but that was not my party that I couldn't get you into the VVIP.
I get it. But now I feel very VVIP.
Are you sure?
And I love you. Thank you.
What's the lesson here? Try to get your podcast on Radio Andy and not iHeartRadio, which competes with Radio Andy. And maybe, Tamra, you might get a kiss from Andy too. So they dropped a sneak peek, which basically gave away the thing I've been teasing all season. God, they're worse than I am on leaking shit before you're ready. Anyway, first I want to talk about this. This was something that came up. Somebody with like a secret voice comes on the teaser and says, Tamra told my friend that you and she were plotting against Gretchen. And Gina's like, I never said that. What are you talking about? And then we know that Shannon didn't want Jennifer Padroni to become friends with Tamra. She said it pretty openly on the show. I mean, that alliance was like in front of camera. So what is the big bomb? Well, Gretchen says that she has had support from, investigators and has found that the accounts that were spreading the information about Gretchen liking homophobic posts and kind of political posts were actually related to Tamra Judge in some way. And so Tamra's been behind the whole thing, and it was all fabricated by Tamra to get Gretchen in the worst way possible. Now, the confusion from my friends was like, they weren't sure, remember, if it was after the reunion or at the reunion. Well, now you know why, because they have like some sort of aftermath show that none of the women see at the time of the reunion, and then they watch it together, like some footage or something. So I think, all of this confused people who were trying to figure out what was going on around the time. So now you know why. Okay, but it looks like it was at the reunion. So you guys will see it in all its glory coming up. Shannon went on Jeff Lewis Live and finally gave a comment about Alexis Bellino getting married to John Jansen, her ex-boyfriend for 4 years. You know the drill. Anyway, she said this. As for Shannon's feelings about Alexis, sorry, I just had oatmeal. As for Shannon's feelings about Alexis and John's nuptials, you don't give a shit, host Jeff Lewis asked Shannon. And Shannon said no. The RHOC star responded, I don't care. Shannon added, time heals everything and it makes you see more clearly. But the big question is, does Shannon care that Jeff Lewis said that she looked like a mess this season? I wonder about that every day. So these are the reunion looks. Why does Orange County always have to be so damn cheesy? I feel like really pink and red. Is it a wedding or what? No, I don't know where they're even at, and I did watch the whole season. Where was that? Was that the engagement party for Jennifer Padroni, or where are they? You guys tell me. I'm not sure I know what's going on here. Is this lingerie or a gown? It looks like a skater outfit. What is happening here? Is she going to bed? What is going on? Emily and Jennifer Padroni went to the Women in Power gala that Variety magazine had. Here's them at the Beverly Hills Hotel, glammed out. This was just yesterday, so apparently Emily and Jennifer are thick as thieves. Meanwhile, Gretchen's just hanging out with Cynthia Bailey. Just forget the whole franchise. Let's just jump franchises. I'm going to Atlanta. And Tamra Judge and Katie Janela are hosting a reunion watch party together on November 6th. So I guess they're, besties. Just be careful drinking drinks around Tamra. You never know. So the women are in Amsterdam in the first scene. Shannon takes shrooms with Heather and Gina, and they go off to a place called Amaze. And it's like a place you kind of trip out and stuff. And Shannon is hilarious because I really do think she was tripping. She started to hear the Real Housewives of Orange County theme song from like years ago, the one that you get on Insta when you select it. So she's hearing it and she's like, I swear. And I've definitely done shrooms and had that happen. I've actually watched whole television shows that didn't exist on a TV set, shrooming. Anyway, it's funny. And then Heather and Gina, they're tripping out in their own way. It's like really good. And then the other girls go to this swing thing that's on this tall building, and it swings you over the city and makes you kind of scared, but you get a nice view. And then they all go have drinks, and Gretchen and Tamra seem to make some progress because Tamra's like, I'm sorry that I wasn't more sensitive to when your sugar daddy died of cancer. I should have realized that was a lot to go through. Now that I've been with Teddy, I get it, So Gretchen's happy with that. So Heather Dubrow goes up to this house, and it's the one that she grew up in, and she's getting ready to give her dad's ashes to the water that he loved, the canal. And the man who owns the house comes out and offers to let Heather Dubrow come in and do a tour. And they make it seem very kismic, but obviously, I don't know if it really was. The producer probably had to get a release done on the guy and make sure that, it was okay for them to go in, and clearance on the walls and all that, right? So I think it was probably set up by the producers, but it was really beautiful the way they made it come out, and maybe they surprised Heather and she didn't know. She seemed really touched by the whole thing. It definitely brought up a lot of emotion. She then sat in front of the house at the canal and made a lovely prayer to her father and released his ashes. And it was really very sweet. And I hope it was real because it was lovely.
I've been in this home for maybe 23 years. This home felt alive.
I love it.
This is so my mother. Oh, the gold leaf. Oh, that's so cool. The little sunroom.
Beautiful house. I love the garden.
And walk out to this big garden. We had dinner parties that had a very good energy to it. My dad was different here. He was happy here. Wait, I'm gonna just FaceTime my mother.
Whenever your parents are here, tell them.
My father passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why we're here. She has his ashes. Yeah, he's actually right here. It's in our pocket.
And you wanted to be in Amsterdam that he comes to Amsterdam to put in the canal or where?
Yeah, because it's such a happy home.
Okay.
And they loved it so much. She's not answering me. Okay. Thank you, John, dear. Thank you so much.
Thanks, John.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Here.
Oh my God, how weird was that? He walked out right when we were standing here. Isn't that weird? I feel like it was meant to be. When you're Jewish, you say it's beshert. It's meant to be. And this feels beshert.
So Gretchen Rossi hears this conversation with Emily and Tamra dragging Shannon, saying that although she's super funny, she's such a mess. Why is she so messy? And she wears these like Spanx and takes her clothes off like mid-camera sessions. And, you know, she's busting at the seams everywhere like a biscuit or like, you know, a package that would like explode if you just released a little of it. I mean, not very nice. So Gretchen decides to tell Shannon Beador this, and Emily's not too pleased with Gretchen for saying this. And Emily kind of owns it. And then she's like, it was taken out of context. I was saying how funny you were, and then it went in that direction. And I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. And it sort of ends. Gretchen tries to interject. Emily shuts her down, screams at her, says, I'm going to come for you. And like she backs off. Well, just tell Shannon not to feel too bad. When I was on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I constantly forgot to take my tags off my clothes, and I was called out a few times over it. So then we find out Emily's arguing with her husband over in Amsterdam because his son is throwing a bit of a tantrum and he can't handle it without Emily there. And so he freaks out. And then Emily yells at him, like, what do you want me to do from here? Anyway, we feel like there's maybe marital stress, but it's going to be okay. It's over her son. But again, I mean, he just seems like maybe a normal kid that needs a little extra attention in some ways. That's all. I mean, every kid has idiosyncrasies, and I don't know, kind of with her husband on this one. I don't see what she's seeing in all this, but maybe I'm missing something. So then we jump and everybody's super happy. Heather and Gretchen and I forget who else was there. Shannon, I think, and Gretchen make waffles, and all the other women go bike riding. Shannon sucks, nearly dies. All the other women, you know, do fine. And that's the scene. We know what's coming. Gina's about to drop the bombshell that, you know, that Gretchen has liked homophobic posts. Now, I heard what happened behind the scenes when this occurred, and it was like, oh my God, Gretchen thought the trip was going so well and was like really happy. And she was like, this is going to be all good at the end. And then the bomb dropped. And she was like catatonic after the end of this trip. Gina's like, Tamra showed me those text messages that you liked and commented under that iHeartRadio were sent and showed to Tamra, and she wouldn't talk about it, but here they are, and now we're bringing it out on the show. And what's weird is Gretchen has zero response. She's not outraged. She just kind of goes like she's on drugs or something. She's just kind of like, yeah, you know, I would never do that. And, you know, this and that. It was like all deadpan. And everyone's like, I mean, anybody else you said this to on the show would be flipping out, right? And Gretchen's not flipping out. So then Heather starts to flip out because she can't believe Gretchen isn't flipping out. And then Jennifer Padroni very fairly brings up that Gretchen's super religious and maybe she's part of the church, because there are some that don't embrace LGBTQ plus. Tamra, Teddy's church didn't embrace LGBTQ for a very long time and upset quite a few members. And actually, there are some LGBTQ members of that church that still feel like they aren't truly embraced by Teddi Mellencamp's church. So, right back at you, kid. Anyway, Heather doesn't let her, you know, get a word out. Jennifer Padroni gets attacked, and that's it. So people don't like her reaction, and then she comes in really strong, and they still aren't accepting her reaction even when she's like, I'm not this person, I didn't do this, and she's crying, and they still don't, and then they boot her out of the car, and she ends up going back by herself. And, you know, I can tell you that I heard that she was very upset when this happened, like beyond. Okay, so I don't know. She didn't show it on camera for some reason, but she definitely showed it after camera. Now, Slade brings up that Tamra Judge made a gay slur. And I want to just say there's a lot of people who support the LGBTQ community who have also made gay slurs by accident, even sometimes intentionally, but they still support the LGBTQ community. What the big issue here is not the slur, it's that she's liking messages that are horrific against the LGBTQ community, allegedly. So I really struggled. I mean, it was not his fault. He didn't know what they were alleging, but it was so much more serious what was going on with these posts than a slur, just saying. So a blogger reaches out, I think, to Gina Kirshenheiter and types this. Hopefully you do the right thing now that cameras are going back up and you do your research. And she's like, I have no idea who you are or what you're talking about. And then the person says, I know you don't know who I am. I'm just someone who wants to expose the truth. Part of the reason why I wanted to reach out is because Tamra has been leaking details about the entire season throughout filming to bloggers and fan pages. If you want to test the knowledge, feel free. I can prove everything I'm saying. And then he gets on the phone, production records it, and he tells basically the whole season up front. Well, at least you know my gossip's good, guys. So see? All the stuff I said in the previous recaps was all true, and it all came to fruition. But none of it came from Tamra. Now you have to figure out who else is just like Tamra Judge. All right, you guys. Oh, one last thing. Remember what I told you in the earlier recaps a few weeks ago now? Andy Cohen was pissed about this. They made it work for them, but he was pissed at Tamra about this.